whitetail deer is America's favorite big game animal, and whitetail deer farming is the fastest growing segment in the American agriculture industry. Our program's mission is to dive into the world of deer farming and discover why tens of thousands of Americans compete to create the biggest bucks in the world. And by the biggest bucks, we don't just mean the size of the antlers. The financial investment opportunities produced even on small parcels of rural land will blow you away. Join me as we discover how whitetail genetics, deer auctions, animal husbandry, and so much more drive the deer farming industry. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Well, howdy everybody, Keith Warren here, and this week on Deer and Wildlife Stories, we're going to be visiting a farm that's in central Texas just outside of the little town of Belton. We're going to be at my buddy's place, DaVine Genetics, owned by Cole Wolf.
So here at DaVine Genetics, we've got 25 pens of whitetail, and we've been breeding deer for 10 years, going on 11 now, and we strive for, trying to produce the best genetics possible, and each year we try to raise the bar. This is Keith's 4th year out here at DaVine Genetics, and we just truly appreciate, what Keith does for the deer industry, and I really like working with him, coming out to the farm here and videoing and, showing off the deer, and he's just a likable person and really easygoing, but he has a passion for deer like nobody I've ever met, and I truly appreciate what he does for the industry.
I mean, anybody who has heard of DaVine Genetics has heard of Solid Gold, and there's a reason why. Just look at him. And we've watched Solid Gold grow up on Deer and Wildlife Stories. We got him at 2, 3, 4, and now at 5 years old. I think at 5 years old, he's better looking than he was before. And so Solid Gold, you can look in the North American Deer Registry and see how many offspring are out of him. There's a lot of people breeding him, and Solid Gold is getting the job done by putting some big yearling and 2-year-olds on the ground right now. All right, so we're just outside of Belton, Texas at DaVine Genetics, and this is actually the 4th year that I've been here in a row. And we're gonna start out the show in a pen that I look forward to coming every single year. And this is the pen that Solid Gold is in, so look at him. Now, who are these guys in here with him?
These are all yearlings.
See, that's the thing that blows my mind. Every year we come out here, we look at Solid Gold, and I mean, Solid Gold is huge. I mean, we're gonna focus on him a little bit in just a second, but look at these yearling bucks. I mean, you always have him in with yearling bucks. Why is that?
Well, we like to keep our breeders, like Solid Gold, in with just yearlings, so that way they keep, they basically rule the pen.
Yeah.
And there's no, he kind of sets the tone for the pen, and they do as he wants.
Well, I mean, clearly the strategy is working. Now this is Cole Wolf. Cole has been deer breeding since how long? It hadn't been long.
Well, we've been at it now 10 years.
Well, it seems like yesterday.
Going on 11.
It seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like time flies.
Time flies, but take a look at this pen of yearlings, but really focus in on Solid Gold. I mean, Solid Gold is, he's a beautiful deer. I mean, and a lot of people think at 5 years old that they ought to be going backwards. He hadn't taken an inch step backwards, has he?
No, I think he's getting better.
I mean, look at that. I mean, how wide do you think he is?
I don't know, you tell me.
I don't know. He's plenty wide enough, and he's heavy. He's got those drops. I mean, what an awesome deer, and the frame on him is incredible.
I love his frame and tines and just how rode up he is. I mean, I think he's got a total package there. Okay, so tell me again the Nadar pedigree on him. What is it? He's Kid Rock Express over 727.
Okay, so clearly, I mean, all your deer are in the registry.
Yes.
But I want to say something that breeding, there's a lot of people that are breeding with those same deer that Cole just mentioned, and deer like Solid Gold. A lot of people breeding with Solid Gold. Okay, as far as the yearlings go in here, they all for sale?
Oh.
Any of them for sale?
Probably not right now.
Come on, really?
I mean, anybody's interested, come on out and we look at them.
I mean, look at that guy right there. That is a daddy-o right there. I mean, he's got the whole package too. And as a yearling, I mean, but that guy over there is not too big, but do you count him out?
Oh no, I mean, as a yearling, you never really count any of them out. I mean, they all have the paper and, backing behind it. Just because they that big at 1 doesn't mean that 2 and 3 they won't be big.
Yeah, so when do you make the decision on really getting rid of them?
Oh, I mean, normally after their 2-year-old rack, you know for sure what kind of direction they're going, but there's a lot of deer nowadays that they're, growing out to 3, and that's when they really make their, stand.
Somebody wants more information. Just outside of Belton, Texas, it's about halfway between San Antonio and Dallas on 35.
Yes, sir.
And so give them a number.
254-541-4637.
Okay, so Solid Gold is not Cole's only big deer. Okay, he's got a big buck, Justify.
Yes.
And Justify, we were out here and filmed him as a yearling. And
filmed him last year too.
And so Justify is 3, and we're gonna go take a look at him now.
Yes, sir. Let's go check him out.
Come on. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds, MVP Whitetails, UVC Power Sports Tractors and Outdoors, and Vandergrift Toyota in Arlington, Texas. Now it's time for one of our frequently asked questions. So in this video, we had a buck that had a serious issue with drop tines early in the summer, and he's got a big drop tine caused from an injury and it needs to be cut off. So went in the pen, got a dart in him, and 10 minutes later he was zonked out. So I put a band on it to basically form a tourniquet. And once that tourniquet was on, I allowed it a few minutes for it to stop the blood, and then I wound up cutting it off. Of course, I wound up giving him a bag of lactated ringers, sub-Q, and then once we got the antler cut off, there was very little blood. So that's the way we handle things. If they have to have an antler cut off, that's what we wind up doing. If you've got questions about deer farming, we've got answers. Head on over to deerandwildlifestories.com and check out the FAQ section. All right, so this is Justify's pen, and I want you to take a look at some of these yearlings in here before we show you Justify. I mean, just take a look at some of these yearlings. These things are big and pretty and framey. Yeah. I mean, clean. They're beautiful. And then we got to show you Justify. Look at him. I mean, what an absolute beautiful buck. But now we were out here 2 years ago when he was a yearling.
Yes.
And we could look at him then and tell he was some kind of special yearling, and people throughout the industry were talking about him because he had that look. And at 2 years old, he just looked supersized version of the 1-year-old version. Now look at him. I mean, he has got everything somebody would want in a deer.
I think so.
I mean, the frame is beautiful. He's just got the entire package.
He is a beautiful deer. He's really been a pleasure to watch grow out, and he's a total package. I mean, frame, time length, width, and the pedigree to back it all up.
And the pedigree is what?
He is Triple Crown over Express over Hardcore Gladiator Tasha.
Okay. And, he's so big, he kind of overshadows all these yearlings that are in the pen, but these are awesome yearlings, too. I mean, they're beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I mean, so let me ask you something. Was he born on here?
He was born right here in this place.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So you got his mom still?
Yes, we do.
Ooh, nice. You got plans for her?
Oh, yeah. We've got a sister to Justify, too.
So if somebody, the reason why I get excited about that is because those big bucks are a result of proper breeding, but proper breeding not just from the top side, but from the bottom side. And so when you got the mom of a deer that looks like Justify, you got something.
Well, I think so.
Okay, so let me ask you about partnerships. You do partnerships?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, explain to people what that is and the benefit of doing a partnership.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do partnerships. But we've structured it all different ways in the past. But the benefits is getting in on a buck like, Justify. Keeper Ranch definitely partnered up on Justify with us when he was a 2-year-old last year. Mm-hmm. And we market that buck together, and we breed, twice as many does basically as his farm, my farm. We're getting great production on the ground, and it just works out good. I mean, that's one big benefit right there.
See, and what I look at is that if you want to get in the deer business and you really want to play the game, as I call it, I mean, you play the genetics game and grow deer like Solid Gold and Justify and a lot of these big, valuable deer, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to find you a partner. But what you're doing by finding a partner, you're actually lessening the risk, okay? I mean, you're lowering the cost. But what you're also doing with the deer, you're actually proving the deer on different pieces of property, not just on one piece of property. But as a partner, you're going to be able to take the semen from that deer and put it in your herd as well. and then you've got twice as many deer on the ground, you can prove them.
That's true, very true.
And so, any of these deer in here out of Justify are solid gold?
There is some solid gold yearlings in here.
Oh, are there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so the solid gold we know is getting it done. I mean, his offspring are getting big. But do you have any big ones out of Justify yet?
No, I mean, this next year will be our really first year to really crank them out.
Okay, okay. All right, so there's another deer out here that we filmed last year, and his name is Overdrive. How old is he?
He's gonna be 3.
Okay, and so he's the same age as Justify.
Yes, sir.
All right, and so let's go take a look at him now.
Let's go check him out.
Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by DaVine Genetics, LE Fence, Dr. Ray Favero's Whitetail Genetics, Massey Ferguson Tractors at UVC Power Sports, and by New Dart. Deer and Wildlife Stories will be right back. Closed captioning is brought to you by Advanced Deer Genetics. Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build. Maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction, the leading design build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on. Rafter P Construction will be with you every step of the way to make your one-of-a-kind build a reality. All right, so we were on our way to go see Overdrive, and we came across a 2-year-old pen. I said, stop, 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 because these 2-year-olds are awesome, especially that guy right there. Who is that?
That's History Maker.
Golly, he's 2.
He's 2.
And he's got the look too. I mean, he's got that, he's just got that DaVine Genetics look. Look at him.
He's got a big old frame on him.
Was he born here?
Born here.
Okay, and these other guys are all 2 as well?
They're all 2-year-olds.
Okay, so tell me pedigree on History Maker.
So he's Landmark, Gladiator Hammer, Easy Does It, Dream Buck, Black 1.
Goes back to Black 1 then.
Black 1.
Okay, okay. I hear Black 1 mentioned all the time. I mean, of course, all those other deer, but Landmark. I want to start with Landmark.
Yeah.
Landmark is at Keeper Ranch.
He's at Keeper.
Okay, and Keeper Ranch has been used Landmark, and I mean, Landmark's a heck of a deer. Big, pretty, beautiful, typical deer. It's no wonder where he gets his looks.
Yeah, I mean, Keeper Ranch partnered on Landmark, and we couldn't be more excited about the production that he's producing.
Okay, and so History Maker. Okay, so you're going to be selling semen on him this fall?
We are.
Okay. What do you think that deer scores on there?
He scores a bunch.
Are you going to knock him down and cut its antlers off, or are you going to wait till they get hard horn?
Oh, I mean, it'll be day by day, but I'd like to see if he, makes it hard horn.
Yeah, well, he is a stud, man. And these other 2-year-olds, there's not some slouches in here. They're all good.
There's some good ones.
But he right there just really shines.
You.
I mean, he's good. All right, let's go see Overdrive.
Let's go check him out.
Whew. History Maker. Okay, so that's Overdrive?
That's Overdrive.
My gosh, he's beautiful.
Oh, he's a big boy.
Okay, and pedigree on him?
Horsepower, Triple Crown, 2028, FedEx's mom.
You got any partners on him?
We do, 3 Nails Ranch.
3 Nails Ranch, Billy. I'll be doggone.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Cool. And so on your bigger deer out here, how many of them do you have partnerships on? About half?
About half of them, yes, sir.
Okay, so on the other ones that you don't have partners on, are you looking for partners?
Oh, we're always open to talk business.
Okay, all right. So, and that's the cool thing about Cole. I'll tell you, when you go to some of these deer sales, I'm gonna tell you, this is not one of the guys you're gonna see around going like this, talking to a lot of people. Cole's quiet. You are, man. You're quiet. And Cole is kind of a quiet guy. He thinks a lot. It's like he pays attention to what that guy does and that guy does, and he comes out here and he does that right there and produces big old deer. Okay, so let's talk about production. Okay, and so you've got these deer that we've been showcasing. You got solid gold. You got all these big deer that we've been showcasing, and you got offspring out of them. All right. Tell me, how is like Landmark doing production-wise?
Well, Landmark is, his production is off the charts. We have numerous big yearlings here and 2-year-olds, and not only here, but we've gotten, several phone calls from other places that are showing us some really good, strong bucks.
And while we produce the show, it's what we're finding is people are coming up to us and saying, we want to show all this production from these deer, not just big deer like Overdrive, but we're going to show offspring from them. That's really when you find out genetically wise they push it out.
That's correct.
And so these deer that you've got are pushing it out. Who are these yearlings in here? I mean, tell me any standouts, or who's the primary breeding?
We have, like in this pen here, we've got, you know, landmark yearlings, we've got some horsepower yearlings, we've got solid gold yearlings. We have a little bit of everything, but I mean, like I said, we're really happy with the production of landmark and these bucks that we have.
Every one of the deer he just mentioned, if you went on Nadar and you looked at landmark, solid gold, horsepower, you're going to see hundreds of offspring in the registry. I mean, 1,000, I don't know, 2,000, I don't know. You're going to see lots, okay, when you start looking at offspring from all those deer. And it's for that reason the deer quality. And so if, let me ask you this, if somebody watching the show, they're thinking about getting in the deer business, okay, and they just wanted to buy an open doe from you. Did you want to come out just buy one open doe? What would kind of like a ballpark figure be? I know that's kind of hard deal, but kind of a low end, just an entry level doe.
We sell doe from $3,500 and up.
And see, that's a smoking deal, because that $3,500 doe, 10 years ago, the blood that's in that $3,500 doe would have been a $35,000 doe.
Could have been.
You think about that, because the genetics are stacked up really, really deep. So if somebody wants more information, give them a number.
254-541-4637.
And they are 5 minutes off Interstate 35, halfway between Dallas and San Antonio. So come on out, real convenient to get to, and plan on coming in the afternoon, about 2 hours before dark, and you're gonna see a lot of big, pretty deer. All right, so let's do this. Let's head on back over the 2-year-old pen, because there were some guys in there that I know that, knowing you the way I know you, you got some deer in there that I was overlooking.
Let's go check them out.
Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by Maloof Whitetails, the North American Deer Registry, New Dart, and Whitetails of Louisiana. Now some great information on fencing from our friends at LE Fence.
Morning guys, this is Ron with LE Fence. We're out here hanging some gates today in between these two pens that we just finished up yesterday. First we went ahead and kind of pre-assembled our hinges on the gates, got them where they typically are going to go, top, middle, bottom. We then held the gate next to the post, marked some holes on the pipe so we knew where to drill our pilot holes to put the hinges through the actual pipe. And what we did from there is we went ahead and put one hinge upside down, coming down on the top, and then we went ahead and put the bolts on the other two hinges on the gate. So then when we're ready to hang this gate, we can just slide the two bottom hinges straight into the pilot holes that we made, and then the top hinge that's upside down, we just scoot the female end of that hinge up into the actual bolt. So now all they're doing is they're tightening up the bolts. They're gonna be able to level the gate here in a few minutes after we get this all tightened up. That's about it, guys. Thanks.
Coming up after the break, we'll have more big bucks. What was that? A cow? There's that doe over there. All right, so we just showed you Overdrive and came back over to the 2-year-old pen because I was just in awe. There's a buck in here that we just showed you a little while ago, History Maker, but how many bucks you got in here total?
A little over 50.
And so out of these 50 bucks, there's other bucks in here that would be breeders in just about anybody's pens. I mean, take a look at these deer. They are phenomenal. So that's the reason why I wanted to come back over here, because I got to learn more. I mean, Cole's kind of shy. He's not going to tell me what's up until I kind of hammer him. So I'm hammering you. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, that's MileStone there.
What a beautiful deer.
Yeah, we're very, we love his open frame and just a clean, pretty deer. It's got some great pedigree too.
They're all beautiful. I mean, at 2 years old, and you know, where are your 3-year-olds?
We don't have any 3-year-olds here other than just a couple of breeders.
Why is that? Because business is good. That's why. He sells them all at 2, and you can see why. I mean, so look at this. I mean, these guys are unbelievable.
Well, thank you. I mean,
were they born all here?
These are all born here.
So you bred their moms and they're born all here. I mean, you got deer over here, you got deer, I mean, this is unreal. I mean, I'm taking a look at these frames. Now you got some really, let me see those binoculars. You got some bigger deer in here. You just, like I said, Cole's kind of quiet. I mean, so they're all sold. So tell everybody who bought them, basically, and why.
Well, some of these will be used for cover bucks and other breeding operations, you know, as far as covering does and breeding does. Some of these will go out to ranches for enhancing the genetics out on their properties.
Did you ever think that you'd be able to have deer like this?
I didn't think so. I'm just very blessed to be able to watch these boys every day.
And you got another one in here?
Well, I've got this one over here. We're gonna name Bucket List, and I really like him. He's a Triple Crown over Express, over 2028 over FedEx's mom, which is the same mom as Landmark.
I mean, that's a phenomenal group of 2-year-olds. And by the time this show runs, none of these deer will be here except for the 3 breeder bucks.
That's correct.
That are in here. And so if you're interested in coming out and seeing, we've shown you a bunch of yearlings on today's program so far. And I would bet money that those yearlings, when they hit 2 years old, they're going to be better than these guys.
Well, we hope so.
No, that's what they're bred to be.
That's what their paper says.
Okay, so if somebody wants more information about coming out here to DaVine Genetics, give them a telephone number.
254-541-4637.
Cole, I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm doggone proud of you. And every year I come out here and I'm just like, oh, one day I want to have deer like DaVine Genetics. Yeah, folks, and I appreciate y'all for watching. If you have any questions or comments about the show and you're watching online, you know what to do. Go ahead and post them below. If you're not watching online, make sure and check out our YouTube channel. And while you're there, make sure and subscribe. I'm Keith Warren, and we'll see you next time. Whew, I don't know which one I like better, but I like them all. Hey there. Make sure and subscribe to the Deer Farming channel by hitting the subscribe button right now. Brought to you by Rafter Construction, the leading design build contractor in North Texas for farms and ranches. Go to rafterpconstruction.com for your dream build.